Kia ora koutou and welcome to the 3 Minute Board Games Season 5 launch video. Now that means we've concluded 4 whole years of doing the channel, and if you told me 4 years ago that we were still going to be doing this and that I was going to be doing this as one of my primary jobs, I wouldn't have believed you. The channel has been far more successful than I expected. Like, way more successful. When we started out, we did not expect to have numbers like 59,000 subscribers and 8.2 million views in 4 years. That's, by board game standards, that's pretty exceptional. So to celebrate, we're going to be giving away a bunch of games, and to win these games, you need to answer the questions that I'm going to pose through this video. Once you've answered those questions, you need to send them to the email above, which I will repeat through the video. I'll also need your postal address so we can send the game out to you. But you will receive a confirmation email from us if you have won a game, and then I'll forward your details on to the people who will send you the game. So the first one of these games we're going to give away is one I've got out of my own pocket, and it is Thunderbirds. And it's not just Thunderbirds, it is Thunderbirds with all 3 expansions. Now this is a pretty tricky to get game these days, especially with the Tracy Island expansion, which is the first one and the really good one. This comes with Tracy Island. It's a second-hand game. It's not, new and shrink. You won't be able to, keep its resale value, but it is a difficult game to get a hold of with all 3 expansions. And the question for this game is, what Thunderbird does Virgil normally pilot? So if you know the answer to that, send it to the email address above along with your address. So let's talk about some of the changes that are happening with the channel. First of all, I'm now a full-time dad content creator. So looking after Anne is my full-time job, but the rest of my time I get to work on the channel, which means this year we are going to be putting out an awful lot more content than last year, and you've probably already seen that in the last couple of months. We've started to step up from 1 video a week to a minimum of 2 videos a week, and that acceleration is going to continue. That extra time is going to allow me to get back to doing more deep dive videos as well as more lists and other videos instead of trying to do just the 1 3-minute recap each week. So I've got a obscure games video coming up where we're going to look at some pretty odd titles, and there might be some hidden gems in there for you to look at. And I'm also going to be doing some extra content specifically for Patreon. And a lot of that is going to focus around miniature painting and making your board games look good. And that's because if you've got board games and miniatures, it does look better when they are painted. But most people have this apprehension about painting them, that it's going to take too much work and it's just difficult and they don't have the artistry and all that. I'm going to show my patrons a whole bunch of tips and tricks on how you can get pretty good looking figures with bugger all work. And I've put some of the examples of those on the green screen behind me. These were all painted really quickly. Like these fighter jets, total time for both squadrons was about 3 to 4 hours. So you can paint models that look pretty good in a very short amount of time, and I'm going to be sharing that with the people on Patreon. And this brings us to our second game giveaway. And this one is from our American sponsor, Miniature Market. So this game is only going to be given away to people inside the United States. And that game is the Arkham Horror, the card game, the new box set that's come out for that. So if you're interested in picking up this and you do live in the US, you need to answer the following question and send it to the email above. And the question is, what is Stephanie's favorite Arkham Files Explorer? And there is a clue in our recent Arkham Horror the card game in 3 minutes. It's the character that was used in all the examples in the player turn section. So if you don't immediately know what Steph's favorite character is, you can check out that video and it will give you the answer. So I'm just going to get up and move over to the shelf of opportunity to talk about something else. So you probably can't see every game on the shelf of opportunity. I mean, it goes all the way down here and all the way up here, but we've got about 120 odd unplayed games to get through. And one of the perks of being on my Patreon is you get to participate in polls to decide what games you're going to look at next. And in those recent polls, people have picked Fort, because I put up a poll for a lightweight game, and it looks like the next heavyweight game that we're going to review is Black Angel. That's currently hit on the poll, but that poll does not close for another couple of days. So if you want to influence the games that are on the channel, the best way to do that is to join Patreon. I mean, you can put comments in the videos, but I will always take the preference of patrons over the preference of the general public. You know, that's understandable. They're the ones paying to keep me doing this. So yeah, I'll just do a bit of a luxurious pan over of the shelf of opportunity and see if there's anything there that leaps out at you. And quickly, on the way back to the green screen, here's my new painting setup, which is in the same room. And as you well know, I'm very proud of being from New Zealand, from Aotearoa. So I reached out to two of the more well-known game publishers inside Aotearoa and asked them to contribute some games to this giveaway. And the first one of those is your choice of Viscounts, Paladins, or Architects of the West Kingdom from Garfield Games. So if you want any of those games, the question is as follows. What historic kingdom is the West Kingdom based on? Send your answer to the email above along with your address to be in to win that one. So we've got one more game to give away, but before that, here's a bit of real talk. And the real talk is this. 3 Minute Board Games is a channel that isn't around shifting product. We're not around making publishers look good for the purposes of selling more toys to you. I make summaries of games that I feel are fair and balanced, but with, you know, the good points are fronted and some criticism is chucked in. And that's for games I like, and when I don't like a game hugely, I might rip on it in a longer format video or talk about it elsewhere. But none of what we do here is specifically brought and paid for by any publisher. And so when I keep saying, you know, keep us independent by supporting us on Patreon, what that means is we don't take money directly from a publisher to make a video for them. We don't do instructional videos, we don't do Kickstarter previews. And in board gaming, that really is the way to make money. It's to do marketing for publishers, direct marketing. You make a Kickstarter preview video, they pay you to do it, you spend 10 minutes talking about how fantastic their game is, and you just repeat that for the next week. 3 Minute Board Games, that's not our style, that's not our thing. We want to be a voice of the customer, we want to be a voice of the consumer. We don't want to be marketing. And that's what a lot of board game content is, unfortunately. And there's no criticism against people doing that as content, it's just not the sort of content I want to do. And if you do want to keep independent voices out there in the board game space who aren't doing just marketing, then you know, consider supporting a channel. Consider supporting 3 Minute Board Games first and foremost, but there are other channels out there that could use your help as well. Because nothing's really free, and well, my funding, it comes from a little bit of sponsorship from Miniature Market, YouTube ads, and our patrons. And the patrons are first and foremost here. If it wasn't for Patreon and the number of patrons I've got on there, I would not be doing this full time. So a thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone on our Patreon. You keep the channel going, you keep me doing this. You keep telling me I'm doing a good job, so I assume I am, but well less than 1% of YouTube subscribers become patrons. It's a very, very, very small amount of people who contribute to keep the channel going when you compare to the overall audience. And this year, my pledge is to do more for those patrons, to provide more exclusive content, to listen to their requests more, and to generally be much more available and much more approachable than I have been this last year especially. And if you want to get in on that action, just head over to our Patreon, sign up, and yeah, we'll be away laughing. So the final giveaway, and this is from another company in Aotearoa, New Zealand. One that most people don't really realize is a Kiwi company, and that's Gale Force 9. And they have contributed my Best New Game to Me This Year award winner, Tyrants of the Underdark. So, Tyrants of the Underdark. If you want to be in to win that one, you must send an answer to the following question to the email above. And that question is, what type of iconic D&D monster with 11 eyes and no hands lives in the Underdark? So if you're an international viewer, you will be eligible to 3 of those competitions, and if you're an American viewer, you'll be eligible to 4 of those. Here's the email address above. remember to send in your answers there along with your address. Answers without addresses provided will be ignored. Because a while back I tried giving away a game and the person didn't answer their email for like 3 months and I ended up giving it to someone else and it was problematic. So yeah, just send me your addresses if you want the games. And if you do want to keep 3-minute board games independent and making the content that we're making and shape the content that we are making, please come support us on Patreon. Otherwise, just like, share, subscribe to the channel, share the videos around, leave a supporting comment, do whatever you need to do. Any little bit helps. Patreon helps more. And here's looking forward to Season 5.